Minister and Party Leader here. Aye, I seen the budget headlines and I had some of it outlined to me by a lackey. And I'm disappointed that in the midst of a cost of living crisis that we aren't getting the allocation required that would let me give more money away to worthy causes. I'm not getting what I asked for, especially capital investment for vital infrastructure in Gaza and just Scotland. And I'm not seeing the funding that's required in order to address shortfalls that we have in roaming data charges. I'll be going through it with a fine tooth comb, as you could be well aware, but as growth forecasts fall, it's clear to me that we have an SNP, not UK government, that has trashed and tanked the economy and doesn't care about Scotland in the slightest. I'm great.
Scotland's message is keep 1.5 alive. Do you like that? I just came up with that. I thought it was quite good. But anyway, I'm going to COP26 because, let's face it, I've got to get out of the house. I mean, the in-laws are still running about greeting, and the Wains are still creating merry hell with that bloody song. And the wife's told me if I can't stop bleating on about Gaza, and if I can't do anything constructive about Gaza, I've got to get out and do something else. So I'm sodding off to get some heat because it's fucking freezing here in Scotland. I mean, it's like -1. I don't know how these people that are homeless are going to cope. But I can't do anything about that. You know, I gave all the money away to that other place. I did throw some money at the Fulton Brecon. I think we're giving them something, but you know, it's nothing to do with the fact that it was built on a floodplain or it's beside a bloody big river. It's just it's climate change. It's a disaster for everyone across the world, and governments aren't taking it seriously at all. I mean, I'm taking it seriously because I've got to have something to think about. Because I don't think I'm doing very well in the polls at the moment, and I'm quite worried about it. So I've got to get my jollies in.
In terms of that, you know, that leading by example, as you say, a lot of your opponents are looking at your trip across to Dubai and say your time would be much better spent getting your own house in order and meeting the climate targets at home before going across to Dubai.
Well, let's be honest here. I don't really give a toss about Scotland because I've got to look out for myself, and it's not looking like I'm going to get another term. So, you know, I'm going over there. I'm going to press the flesh, so to speak, and see if I can get a wee job with maybe the WEF or WHO or UN or even the EU. I don't mind. I would like Ursula's boots. I would do anything to keep myself in the limelight because, you know, I'm a wee bit of a narcissist. I say that with the best possible intentions, of course. But yeah, it's something that we've got to get done, and climate change is bad for everyone, you know. We've got to get moving on it, you know, because what else would we do? I'm great.
Merry Christmas, yeah. Merry Christmas, coming from the facts, yeah, just put this on your wish list. Merry Christmas, whipping in a foreign Santa, turn it to a litmus. Got me feeling down cause my stocking full of coal, yeah. Had a bad year, man, I'm sick of getting old, yeah. Wanna stay a kid and I love it when it's cold, yeah. It's that time of year I can act 10 years old, yeah. I know that this year he finna get me. I know Santa coming down my chimney. I hope that he isn't mad about me. This year I've been messing up my kidneys, yeah. Merry Christmas, coming from the facts, yeah, just put this on your wish list. Merry Christmas, whipping in a foreign Santa, turn it to a litmus. I'll be okay, left some cookies on a plate. Think the milk's a little late, past the expiration date, but I think I'll be okay. Homie switching out my name, from the naughty and the shame to the nice side of the page, yeah. I made some mistakes that he won't like, yeah, but you know I still wanna get a bike, yeah. And you know I want that skin on Fortnite, yeah. Made a list and I ain't never check it twice, yeah. Let's go, yeah. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Man, I love how Christmas smells, wish this was every day. Sprinting down the stairs to see presents just for me. God, I hope it's not a lump of coal, this year I misbehaved. Cause I know it started off with a couple in my B's. Then I ran into some trouble when I stole an SUV. But I'm trying to stay humble, so I'm praying on my knees. Cause I'm begging Santa, brought me what I wanted, Santa please. I want a big house and a big car, with a pool in the back of the backyard. Some new shoes and a huge bar, and a Stratocaster left-hand guitar. Wanna go far, wanna be the best, be the rest of art. Pumping on my chest, I ain't best to start. Santa for the rest of my shopping cart, yeah, that's a start. Naughty or nice, I like my girls with spice, I like my girls with right. Santa one time, give me the gift of a girl that's fine, don't mind. I want a Rolex that ain't stolen, I want a Rolex that ain't broken. I want a potion in slow motion, I want a home in Cali by the ocean. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Well, well, well. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Ben. How are you?
I am friggin' shite. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm a bit cold though. A bit cold.
Yeah, I've got my wife has given me a viral infection, and it's attacked my sinuses, and I feel like a
Syphilis.
dead man walking. Maybe. We'll
I've told
see.
you. I told you what to do. I told you.
I know.
You need to get rid and get a stronger breed.
Well, you know, one day, maybe, one day. I'm still quite fond of her. I'm still quite fond of her at the moment.
Yeah, I don't know why. Anyway.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's Wednesday night, and at some point soon we will open the phone lines. If you've been supporting us on either Ko-fi, YouTube, or Patreon, you should have a copy of the phone number, the mobile phone number from last week. So just go and make sure you've still got a hold of that. If you haven't, then feel free to drop me a message on Twitter, and I will grab the graphic once more of John, and I'll send it over to you. And that's if you are a supporter. So if you are a supporter on either Ko-fi, YouTube right here, or over on Patreon, then you will be able to phone into the show a bit later tonight, and you can have a little moan about life, or you can just sing our praises. It's entirely up to you. But on that note, John,
Ben,
before we allow the wonderful plebs to hear our voice in real time in their ears, would you like to talk about anything? I've got something I want to open with, but I'm assuming you've got a few things you want to go with as well tonight.
I don't mind. You can open if you want. It's up to you. I was going to start with this, though. It's Captain Underpants. Why? Why is Keir Starmer wearing underpants on his head?
The question is, why has Keir Starmer not worn underpants on his head for the entire time he's been leader of the Labour Party?
Yeah, so why is he wearing them now? I mean, I think
Because
he went I think he went to see some Sikhs. Sikhs, the other guys that wear turbans, aren't they?
Yeah, but that certainly doesn't look like a well-fitted turban, does it?
No, no, it just looks like he's crackles, doesn't it? It looks like he's
Yeah.
under crackles. He just pulled them off and go, oh, I'll just slip these on over my head. Do you remember that woman that dropped her panties and used them as a mask?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what he's done. He's dropped his panties and used it as a turban.
Look at this. My father was a toolmaker, don't you know? My
Yeah.
father was a toolmaker.
You are.
And he helped me fit this turban.
No, his father made one of the biggest tools we've ever had the privilege of seeing in public office. And that man is Keir Starmer.
I'll drink to that. I'll drink to
Indeed.
that. Indeed. What are you
Indeed.
drinking tonight, John?
Water at the moment.
Snap! H2O.
Okay, my good friend.
There seems to be something going on in the jungle over in Australia. Because
God, okay.
I'm not going to talk about Nigel Farage.
What's happening
The
then?
second person in the space of 2 days has left this show on medical grounds. So first it was the food critic Grace Dent, who after 7 days in the jungle ended up looking like Skeletor. Do you remember Skeletor from
Castle Grayskull?
Oh yeah. And
By the
did.
power
I mean,
of Grayskull!
she went in skinny, but my God, I imagined her just going, "I have the
See,
power."
These people are freaking amateurs, right? They're amateurs. I mean, look at us, right? We could go in the jungle and we could not eat for the entire time we're there and come out looking better than these people did when they went in.
Well, yeah.
Because we've got, we've stored our food.
We have stored our food, stored it well.
You've put a wee bit back on, have you?
No, I've lost
okay.
more.
Oh, cool, well done. Well,
Yeah.
I really need to join you, but I don't think it's going to happen now this year. I think it's...
I'm now down over 20.
That's cool.
I don't think I'm going to get to the 30 I want by December 16th. I don't think that's going to happen at all, but I don't really care at this point because I think where I've got to so far in the space of just over 5 weeks I think it's good enough. And I do intend to at least keep it off. I'm going to try and lose more, but the rate of weight loss has slowed. So, and it will. What you looking at there, John? You going?
I'm just looking. Is that a new name, Alexander Cameron?
I believe it's someone who has been here before a couple of times, but
Okay.
rarely speaks in the chat. But no, and now Britney Spears' sister has been removed from the jungle on medical grounds as well.
Britney Spears is a sister,
Yeah,
and she was in the jungle.
yeah, and she looks exactly like Britney Spears.
Aw, that's lovely.
Yeah. So Britney Spears' sister has been removed as well. So that's 2 people gone on medical ground.
Oh, if I'd known that, I might have had a swatch at the jungle people.
What? So you could see Britney Spears' sister? Her name's Jamie Lynn Spears.
Yeah. I'll check that out later. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right. My goodness, there's a lot of chat. Well, there's a lot of chat from Cellini. Actually, I've just popped the chat open and pulled it. And that's just the top chat. Oh my God, I'm going to have to turn it to live. She's obviously in a talkative tone tonight.
She's in a good mood. She's in a good mood. And,
yeah.
and if you are in a good mood, then don't forget to hit that like button. So Alexander says, no, I've been here before, here to cause trouble.
Woohoo. Excellent.
So are we.
Right.
At the end of the day. Right. What else you got for us before we get these?
Is that all you were going to talk about? Just the jungle thing?
Well, for now, yeah.
Have you seen what they've done with Nigel Farage, though? Have you seen what they're trying to do behind the scenes?
Well, aren't they doing him? Aren't they trying to make him look like some kind of racist because they're doing the whole cultural appropriation thing, aren't they?
Yeah, no, it's not just that. That's in the jungle, but they're actually attacking him out with when he's got no right of reply because he's not allowed to contact anyone in the outside world. So the STV are having a bash at him on the night where they take a vote whether he's going to be in the jungle or not, because he's not strictly speaking in the jungle yet, is he?
Yeah, he is.
I thought he was in the outback. No?
No, he was only in the Outback for the first day.
All right, okay. I don't know. Anyway, so I don't know. I haven't watched it. I don't know anything
You
about
don't
it.
watch it, and I have watched it just so you don't have to. But yeah, they're going to start the vote off, I believe, in the next day or two, so that will start voting people out. So if they can edit Nigel to look bad, maybe they want rid of him now because of the boycott.
That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to put people off him because of this stuff that they're putting out in the papers and whatever. But I think it's too late, mate. I mean, it's like certain people go into the jungle and you think, oh, people's going to hate them, and people don't, because people generally, well, in this country, I think people love an underdog, right? And Farage becomes the underdog because everybody hates him, so he automatically becomes the underdog. And then when like fat ignorant people start picking on him, then and they can be seen through as if they were. I mean, they're not made of gossamer, but by God, you can see right through them. I mean, talk about vapid and unintelligent, you know. So when they start picking on him, he's going to garner public sympathy, isn't he?
Well, yeah, and this Nella Rose, who you are alluding to, I believe, she is also on finicky medical grounds at the moment, by the looks of it, because
in danger of losing weight.
Well, she was going to be voted for a trial, I believe, last night, and then right before they announced who was doing the trial, they said Nella's been removed from the camp temporarily on medical grounds. She can't do the trial. She'll be back later.
Oh my God, that's just pathetic. What, did they have to go and refit her nappy or something?
I don't know.
Anyway.
But at the end of the day, she is obviously trying to make a name for herself there by and from what I can see, it is by continually attacking Nigel Farage. Yeah. She is trying her best to make him look like a racist. She really is. Now, am I saying that he is one myself? I don't know. I don't think so, but
you know what? You know what? People would call me that, right? Because I have very strong views on certain things. But that doesn't mean I'm going to change, right? But by the same token, you're going to take on someone like Farage, you better up your IQ points a few, you know, by a few tens in her case. Maybe even...
Well, yeah.
Maybe even more, you know, because he's not daft. So he's not the kind of guy you want to, you know, start a verbal sparring match with when you're a few slices of bread short of a sandwich.
No, I completely agree with you. And
hold on. Is there something going on in the background? What do you mean?
Not of the show, I don't think. I think of Celebrity Get Me Out Here, of the jungle, John. They're talking about the jungle.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, there is stuff going on in the background.
Of course there is. They're realizing that they're accidentally making him look good. They're accidentally making him look electable, even. And they definitely didn't want to. I think this was an attempt to really sully his image, and it's backfired on them completely. Just my opinion. You know, 1.5 million quid is nothing. It's chump change to a company like ITV. And if that's what it's going to cost them in their minds to, you know, get rid of Farage, because
it's not even ITV, is it? This is all done through a production company and stuff like that. So
yeah, but I mean, it is ITV, really.
Yeah, okay. Well, yes and no. But anyway, it doesn't really matter, because I think they're just going to make themselves look like idiots.
Well, of course. And they're clearly trying to edit the show in such a way that makes him look bad. And it's not going well for them, because when you have somebody and they try and big her up as the person in the right who's shouting about cultural appropriation, the vast majority of people are going, what is this nonsense? Nobody gives two shiny shites about it, because it literally does not factor into the life of the average person. And it's just such a vapid and ridiculous concept that everybody should just reject it wholesale, as far as I'm concerned. If you want to wear something from another culture, why on earth should that be a bad thing? If you want to celebrate another culture, why on earth should that be a bad thing? It's like we have to take every little thing that a certain subset of people do and say that's wrong because it's you. And I think most people are seeing through it, to be honest. I really do.
So he says that word in a weird way because YouTube doesn't like that word, apparently.
Does not like that word.
Why is that? Although you said that All In would be censored because I said the R word. And it's just
It wasn't, was it?
It wasn't. It was given a green light after manual review.
That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. And it's nice to learn these things at the end of the day. And if you haven't, guys, if you haven't seen John's video from last night, it's just a 10-minute video, 13-minute video about Vic Morrow and the Twilight Zone, the movie, and how he may well have predicted his own death a few years in advance. It's worth going and taking a look at. And I honestly think that these rabbit holes probably going to move into looking like this more often. Going forward.
This is Ben's influence. He's exerted his presidential decree. And he's made some changes round here.
Well, yeah, I have, haven't I? I stuck my oar in.
Yeah, no, and anything that makes a channel, perform better and look better and delivers a more entertaining, presence to the people out there, I'm all for. Absolutely all for. You know me. Yeah, I'm not a stick in the mud. I'm not resistant to change. I'm not grumpy at all.
He's lying.
I'm not.
Let me give you some behind the scenes talk here.
What?
I've been telling John to make a rabbit hole in this style that he did last night for 6 fucking months. And he says he's not resistant to change.
No, it's not me.
I've been saying do this for 6 months.
Zed. He keeps saying, no, don't do that, John. Don't listen to that. Don't listen to Ben. He's evil. I can hear him in my head all the time. It's like, look at this pretty fish. Don't think about Ben. Look at this pretty fish. Don't think about Ben.
John, are you doing that correctly, John? Is your audio right, John? Is the VPN on, John?
No, it's not. Right. Right. I've got one thing I want to say to Greece, right? And this is the Elgin marbles. It's nothing to do with marbles, okay? It's bits of marble that were hacked. I mean, let's face it. They want them back. You know what I would say? You want them back? Come ahead if you're hard enough. Come ahead. Come and take them. Come on then.
Let me give people some context here, because you see places like the BBC referring to them by their old name before the Elgin marbles. I believe it was the Parthenon marbles.
No, the Parthenon statues or something.
But still, I'll give you some context here. Greece was seized by the Ottoman Empire. Yeah. So it was taken over by Turkey.
Yep.
And they started systematically destroying these things. And in order to preserve them, Elgin and the British Museum purchased them from the Turks instead of the Turks destroying them. Mm-hmm. They made a legal purchase, and the other option was destruction. So I personally believe, and this is just my opinion, that Elgin and the British Museum saved them. Mm-hmm. They would not be in Greece right now. If they had not been sold, they would have been destroyed. And so a legal purchase was made, and why should we give them back? And I know that sounds shitty, but I think it's correct.
I think you're right, Ben. And you know what? See, if you're going to give them back, you might as well just fucking empty the British Museum. Just empty the whole thing and just scatter it all back to where it came from. Because let's face it, that we gathered stuff up and we put it on display, so as the people in Britain that weren't able to go out and see things could go there and have a look at stuff. So if that's bad, tough shit. That's what happened. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for it. Sorry,
But
not sorry.
It's not only that. It really isn't. Because the British Museum is not just for the British, it's for tourists as well. It's for anybody that wants to come and look at these, marvels of engineering, of wonder, of beauty, of art, of sculpture from all over the world. And perhaps some of them were gained by more nefarious means, perhaps. However, this one in particular, the one that the debate is about, was not. As far as I'm concerned, Elgin and the British Museum saved these items from destruction by legally purchasing them.
Well, right, I know you say that, right? However, how legal is it to purchase something after somebody's effectively stolen it?
Now, I thought this argument would come up. I
Right,
did,
okay.
and I was ready for it.
Okay,
I was So in that same breath, in that same respect, what we'll have to do is we'll have to look over history and see what countries have taken over what land and and we'll get very convoluted and we'll go right back and we'll see who's done this before.
Exactly, and that's why
and
you
then
might.
Where does it stop?
Well, yeah, it stops with you emptying the British Museum. That's where it stops. And
not just the
hey,
British
hold
Museum.
on. The Louvre, you might as well empty that.
Mm-hmm.
Give put that painting back in Italy. That didn't come from Put the other one back in Holland or the Netherlands or whatever you want to call it. So the Smithsonian, they can ship all their stuff back as well.
Oh, yeah.
So where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line?
It's the same argument for reparations, isn't it? Because you could say,
exactly.
we're going to pay these people reparations, but now I'm going to turn around and say, well, I want reparations from the Persians and the people from the Barbary Coast for what they did. And then it's just a vicious circle, and it can go on and on and on and on until everybody's paying everything to everybody, and at the same time, nobody has anything.
It's nonsense. A nonsense.
It's all a nonsense. It really is. And they are issues that really, really have absolutely no bearing on the moving forward of society. They really don't, because we can't. If we want to move forward, why should we be continually looking back? Okay, this group of people did some bad things to that group of people, and that group of people did some bad things to that group of people, but we've moved past that. We're not those people anymore, and we don't do those things. And in fact, I say anymore, I've never been one of those people. I don't think you have either, John. So how can we be held responsible for what other people who weren't us did? I just don't get it.
The whole thing's ridiculous. It really is. I mean, and
yeah,
you know what happened? What happens is people that don't have a clue what they're talking about end up demanding things because they think it's their right. I mean, look at all these clowns that wear hair braids and say, "Oh, you can't wear hair braids because you're white." Well, hair braids are Scandinavian.
Yeah, they're Scandinavian.
If anybody's appropriating culture, black people are appropriating Scandinavian Viking culture.
Well, and this is why the argument is so ridiculous, because they're not appropriating anything. Nobody's appropriating anything from anybody.
That's like, if I shave my head into a Mohican, am I appropriating Red Indian culture?
We might be appropriating 1970s punk, but...
Exactly. Who cares? Nobody cares. Anyway, right. Shall we move on? What? Shall we?
Well, I mean, I suppose so. This got my blood boiling, though. It really does.
Well, at least it's giving you a bit of a heat.
Something has to in this day and age. Something has to, John.
Right, let's have a little look at this video.
I have questions on another topic, but I know Lee wanted to come in. So.
Yeah. Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Simon. Hi, guys. Just one question from me. Put foreign offenders aside and Albanians aside, just forget about those numbers. How many people travelling on small boats that's been refused asylum have been sent to a third country or back to their own country over the past 3 years?
I don't think we have. I
think we'll write to the committee with those numbers, Mr. Anderson.
That's staggering.
So
okay, then let's do it for the last year.
I don't have a number for
No,
non-Albanian,
well,
non-FNOs.
They don't know.
Let's do last week then.
Do we have any figures about anything?
Hold on. Shh.
Yes.
In the last 6 months, just how many in the last 6 months?
As Simon said, there are charter flights and other ways of doing returns the whole time.
Bullshit.
And we can give you whatever timeline
and
return period you'd like.
aside, people who are coming here who are being refused asylum, because I'm sure there's a few. How many was sent back last month?
Incoming.
Come on.
We'll write to those numbers.
I'm sorry, Chair, but I find it absolutely staggering that the big boss hasn't got a clue, not just on this question, but nearly every other question we've asked today.
Well, I think we'll leave it at that. I think he's right. You know, I mean, he's got a point. I mean, I'm not a great fan of the guy, but he's got a point. You know, you've gone into a meeting where you're guaranteed to be asked questions because of who's asking the questions, right? And you don't have the information to hand? Why would you do that?
Well, of course they don't have the information to hand because...
No, they do. They just don't want to disclose
don't want to say it.
Yeah.
Because they know exactly what the reaction would be from somebody like Lee Anderson if they disclosed the true figures. Now, I am going to say, and this is just a conservative, small c, guess, that I would say at least 30%, and that's being very generous, should be refused asylum. Being very, very generous, by the way. Which should mean that 30% of tens of thousands of people should mean thousands of people are being sent back. And it doesn't appear to be happening, does it? Now, I am all for genuine asylum claims. I'm all for it. I do think that they should come via other means and other routes or present at embassies or something like that. But in the same breath, what we are seeing coming across the channel, men under 35 mostly, barely any women and children, and it's clearly for many, not all, but many economic reasons. It's not for asylum reasons, it's economic.
No, of course it is. Of course it is. Right, anyway, let's move on. So I give you the Pennsylvania water system, hacked by Iranian-backed hackers, right, who leave the message, "Down with Israel." Now, this chap does say, was this the clumsy ham-fisted work of Mossad or CIA? And I think he maybe got a point there. I think he maybe got a point.
I think you may be right.
Yeah.
I think you may be right. Obviously, we can't say for sure, but come on now, guys. It's a bit on the nose. It's like all of these fake hate crime hoaxes that we see all of the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same deal, isn't it? It's the Jussie Smollett of water hacking. So I think we'll discover down the line, probably not anytime soon, but down the line, we'll come back maybe a year from now. Remember that water hack? We'll be going.
Yeah.
And we'll go, yeah, that water hack wasn't the Iranians.
No. Right. So I've got a second video here. I've had a woman who is white but wearing a hijab and talking about boycotting Israeli products and companies that support Israel for some reason.
Okay.
We talk about boycott. Fine. We've had boycotts before, okay, of Israeli products, and then people forget and they don't check the label. What we need to be talking about right now is cancelling. Cancel your American subscriptions if you're from the Muslim world. Cancel any products from America. We need to get behind Israel. We need to cancel Disney. We need to cancel Amazon. We need to cancel all of those major collaborations. Starbucks, finish them forever. KFC, seriously, you have local chicken products that you can buy and enjoy. We need to build up our ummah, build up our spaces, inshallah, and not be so reliant, because clearly the American system is built out of a hatred for Muslims.
She's quite outspoken.
She does appear to be quite outspoken. I do want to drag you up on something.
Go on,
I just
then.
want to drag you up because who cares if she's white and wearing a hijab? You know, an ideology is an ideology.
Yeah, but my point is she doing it for is she doing it for a laugh? Is she doing it for clicks and giggles? Maybe because she's English, she's a broadcaster in England, she's a reporter in England, you know. So is she just trying to do it because she's just jumping on the current thing?
Well, I personally think she's probably married to a Muslim man, and married into that lifestyle.
That's a big assumption.
More than,
is it?
well,
I don't know.
Well,
yeah, she
well,
Lauren Booth. Well, let's have a look. Let's have a foot. I'll have a quick look. Carry on.
I could be wrong, but anyway, regardless, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you represent. I don't want a TV broadcaster telling me who I should and should not buy products from.
Yeah, she's a clown. That's what she is. So she's the she's the half sister of Cherie Blair, right?
Oh dear.
Yeah. Right. Okay. She was not raised in any religion. Her father was raised a Catholic. Her mother, who was purported to be Jewish, was a Christian. Her parents never married each other. She has a sister, Emma, along with Cherie, and 5 other half-sisters, okay?
Big family.
Yep. She's been on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. She wasn't wearing that crap then.
Right.
She had a long association with the Iranian press TV, starting with Between the Headlines in 2008. And she presented Remember Palestine and Diaspora. She presented her own series on the newly launched British Muslim TV called Talking Booth in 2014. She took a senior producer post at Al Jazeera in Doha and was let go a few months later. Okay. She's a vocal opponent of the Iraq War, Stop the War Coalition, blah, blah, blah. She travelled to Gaza by ship from Cyprus to highlight the blockade of the Gaza Strip in 2008. And what else has she done? She returned to Gaza via Palestine with the British politician George Galloway in 2009.
Okay, so I was probably wrong.
Yeah. Here she goes. She converted to Islam a few years after her visit to Palestine and became a practicing Muslim. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure.
Well, no, that's fair enough if that's true.
Yeah,
I'm not going to question it.
Yeah, okay. So I actually have a problem with people that change their religion.
I don't.
But I kind of do. I kind of do. I can understand. I kind of understand if you don't have a religion, right? But if you then suddenly find faith, how do you pick what one's right?
Look,
and how do you know if you say you're a Christian or a Catholic or something like that, and then suddenly you decide you want to become a Muslim? Does that mean that you just don't believe in the Christian one anymore? It's a strange thing for people to do, in my view, because if you've got faith, then what caused you to not have faith but now have faith in something else that's very similar but not quite the same?
But the same argument can be said for opinions, and a religion is just an opinion at the end of the day.
No, I disagree.
Okay, but you can disagree. But the way I'm looking at it from an agnostic point of view,
right? Stop! You can't look at it from that point of view because these people.
I can.
No, you can't. You can't understand it. Well, you can look at it if you want, but you can't understand it then.
No, I can.
No, you can't.
Because you don't know what pragmatic point of view.
No, but you can't understand it because if you look at it from that point of view, right, you're not understanding that these people don't choose something; they have faith in something, right?
Yeah, but they choose what to have faith in.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Well,
of course
see,
they do.
well, I don't think you're understanding religion properly. I really don't.
Well, you have to choose to have faith because
No, you
people
don't.
can fall out of faith. Of course you do.
No, you don't. No, you should.
Of
Well, you
course
shouldn't.
do, 'cause
You shouldn't
people
have
can lose
to.
faith.
Yes, you can lose faith. But if you have faith in something, you should never have had to choose to have faith in something. That's not faith. That's just choosing to believe something. And that's not the same thing as faith.
I mean,
I may be wrong. I may be wrong, but I don't think you're understanding what people think of as religion. You're making a reasoned choice, and reason doesn't come into it.
Well, I think reason must come into it if you're deciding to move from one faith to another.
Yeah, well, and that's why I have a problem with it, because you're no longer religious. You're just making choices depending on what is more convenient to you.
Meh. Okay. Well,
It's my view.
Okay, you're right.
Don't start using my techniques on you. No, but I think it's probably something that would take a lot of discussion. We probably wouldn't come to an agreement on it, but I think someone who is properly religious isn't choosing to be that faith. They are part of that faith, you know. And I think people that do this, they go to Palestine and all that, and they see the turmoil and everything that's going on. I think what happens is they get caught up in it. But I don't think they really become part of that religion. I think they just adopt it because because they want to be virtuous, you know. I think that's got a lot to do with it.
I mean, perhaps you're right. Perhaps you are right. Perhaps you're wrong. Perhaps I'm right. Perhaps I'm wrong. It's not an answer we can come to within a 10-minute space of discussion. It is much deeper. We probably would end up agreeing to disagree because I do believe a lot of choices involved, of course, because everything you do in your life, every minute of every day is a choice.
Yes, I know what you're saying, right? But you're looking at it from a very black and white point of view, which is unlike you, because normally you're the one that brings up the nuance.
I don't think there is much nuance.
Well, I see the problem. Listen, we're just going to start going around in circles. So there's no really.
Well, you choose what faith to believe, don't you? At the end of the day,
you say that, but people that firmly believe in something like this, they don't really choose. It comes to them. You know what I mean?
Well, and like Beats and Tate says in the chat here, most people get born into whatever faith they're in, so it's all they know.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are brainwashed. Yeah, that's fine. But you know, people who are grown adults that change their faith, that doesn't sit well with me, because that's someone who's quite fickle, in my view, right? And I'm not religious.
At what point? Okay, so let's move this on, because at some point, we're already 35, 36 minutes into the show. We need to open this damn phone line.
Yeah, we do. When do you want to? When?
So, if you've got one or two more things, we can go for those. But whilst you are looking, I will say that the Irish authorities are currently investigating Conor McGregor for
they are
essentially telling the truth, saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah,
if you will.
Yeah, they are.
And he's not incited anyone. I don't see him calling for any violence. I don't see any of that. In fact, I saw him dressing down Paul Golding, the leader of Britain First, and I really don't like Paul Golding.
I think you're 100% right, and you know, I think like Scotland, and like England's coming along nicely as well. You know, I think they're all lining up, you know, one behind each other. They're all overreaching on the powers thing. You can't say anything. It's no longer a free country. And it's,
if it ever was.
It's certainly not a democratic country. You don't really have any say in how the place is run. You can't challenge anything. If you go against government, people come and speak to you. You know, it's like, well, I mean, as we've always said, you only need to find out if you live in a free country or not by how many permissions you need to ask to go and do something. And at this point in time, you've got to ask permission to go and take a dump.
Well, you've got to ask permission in many places now to simply have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have permission to have an opinion. Now, I am not a fan of the tyranny of the majority, but surely when you're going to create things like hate speech laws that fundamentally change the way you are allowed to express yourself, speak and think, such a decision should be put to referenda. Such a decision should be decided by the people.
Well,
because
I don't think direct democracy is mob rule.
Okay, that's interesting.
I mean,
exactly what it is.
Well, why do you think it's mob rule?
Because it's the tyranny of the majority. It is because the minority won't agree.
Yeah, but the minority never agree.
Mm.
So, in your view, then, democracy cannot possibly exist.
Well, I don't think true democracy does exist. I really don't.
What is true democracy then?
True democracy relies on compromise. And let's face it.
Does it?
Of course it does.
So if 70% of the people want to do one thing and 30% of the people want to do another, right?
Yeah.
Where's the compromise?
Well, you've got to find some kind of appeasement, I guess, surely. You don't just tell 30% of your people, which could be millions, by the way, to fuck off.
But that's what happens just now. Except it's the other way round. 30% of the people tell 70% of the people to fuck off.
Well, exactly, because that's basically all of the votes that the Tory government get, and yet they get an 80-seat majority. It's like 30 to 40% of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
And then, boom, they're in power.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous. I mean, let's look at Nigel Farage and when he was leading UKIP. They got 5 million votes. They did not get a single MP, whereas the Scottish National Party got less votes and got 56 of the fuckers.
Mm-hmm.
That's not democracy, is it? Let's face it.
Well, see, that's just the problem. Democracy cannot exist. That's why. That is why you are better, coming along and joining somewhere that's got a benevolent dictatorship like Veridora, where you will be treated properly, your decisions will be made for you, and you won't need to have to think about these nasty things. And to be part of Veridora, all you have to do is sign up to ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent, patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or press join on the YouTube channel.
And if you do those things, or one of those things, then you get access to the phone number for the Wednesday phone-in. You really do.
Yeah.
You get access to it.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to John, just open the fucking phone line and see if anybody actually wants to speak to us.
Okay. I'm going to open the phone line.
Those who supported us up to now got the phone number last week.
It's the same phone number. Use
the mobile number on the thing that was sent out, not the other one. Use the mobile number, because the other one will ask you for passcodes and the like. And
phone line is open.
The phone line is open, which means we'll continue to chit chat shit until that phone rings. And if that phone doesn't ring,
we'll continue
I would not blame you.
You continue to. Why would you not blame them? Right. While we're waiting to see if anyone wants to join the phone, do you say what the government's up to now? It's true. It's true. Remember, I said that I wasn't sure if it was true, but it is true. So the government want to go through the bank accounts monthly of everybody that's on benefits to crack down on fraud.
Right.
Is that an overreach?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's not much more to say about that.
It's coming. So what are you going to do? That's ridiculous. So what happened to human rights? Somebody's going to... They can't do this. Somebody will take them to court, surely.
Well, surely. Well, once again, a bank account is private.
Yeah,
it's not a government.
It's not now. Not if you're getting paid by the government they're going to be able to go through your bank account and see what you're spending money on.
I mean, I don't like this concept of being paid by the government because
Well, okay,
the government don't have any money.
If you're receiving money from the public purse, okay,
Yeah.
then the government, right, want to go through your bank account and see what you're spending money on.
So I would like access constantly to the bank accounts of every MP, every councillor.
Why not?
Every NHS worker.
Yeah.
Every NHS worker. Every police officer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every fireman.
Every fireman.
Yep. Every public servant. Just open up your bank accounts and let us see what you're spending your money on.
And whenever we ask as well.
Yeah.
So if you see somebody, you know, they're on their paramedic round, you say, "Show me your bank account, mate." Because that is exactly the same, isn't it? It's exactly the same.
Oh,
every company that receives any kind of public money injected into them, be it a bailout or anything like that, constant access to their bank accounts, please. Want to see them.
Right. So right, there's a couple of things that's going on in the chat that I need to address. One, companies don't evade tax. If they evade tax, they get done for it, right?
No, they legally dodge it.
Hold on. Let's use the correct terms, right? And let's not be browbeaten by the public media like the BBC, right? Who seem to think that this is an offence. And even the HMRC now, who have a question on when you're filling in the tax return. Have you used any tax avoidance schemes? Now, tax avoidance, people, is a perfectly legal thing to do. And I would say, as a director of a company, it is your duty to use as much tax avoidance as you can, because your duty as a company director is to maximize the profit for your shareholders, right? So if there's a legal method of avoiding paying tax, you should be using it, and you're in dereliction of your duty if you're not. The HMRC can get to fuck because you don't answer that question, because tax avoidance is legal and has nothing to do with them. If they want to change the law and make it tax evasion, that's a completely different matter. But until they do so, you keep using those tax avoidance things. Right? That's my stance on tax avoidance, because tax avoidance is legal, right? Tax evasion is not.
I can't rebut anything he's saying here. I think he's absolutely right. If you can legally avoid tax and maximize profits for your shareholders, do it.
Now, the next thing is, Beats and Tape says, the government will be telling us you can't use your money on OnlyFans, right? Well, there's two things there, Beats and Tapes. If you can justify, well, you shouldn't have to justify what you're spending your money on, regardless of where it comes from, okay? Because
no, of course not.
If someone gives you money, regardless of whether it's in exchange for labour or it's from the public purse in order to tide you over until you can profitably start exchanging your labour for wealth again, that's fine, right? If you're an OnlyFans person receiving money, if it's a donation, the government shouldn't be able to touch it because it's a donation. So it's like when you donate money to us, right? Don't need to tell the government. Tax free, right? When YouTube pays us advertising revenue, we've got to pay tax on that.
Have we on 60 quid in 6 months?
Oh, it's not 60 quid, mate. It's less than that. Because no, we haven't. The super chats were donations. Remember, they're not taxable.
No, yeah, that's true.
Right? It's only that.
That's true.
It's only the advertising revenue that's taxable. So the advertising.
So really, on 14 quid in 6 months?
yeah. But so the tax on that's effectively zero. So don't worry, don't sweat it until we're earning substantially more. I wouldn't worry about it.
Why are you telling me not to sweat it? I don't get any of it.
Did you still have to pay tax on it?
Well, not once you donate me money.
Oh, right, okay. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to reduce the amount of money that I donate to you in order to take account the tax burden. Oh.
Oh, dearie, dearie me.
So where the hell are we?
I don't think anybody wants to call us tonight, John.
Yeah, well, that's fine. You know,
that is fine.
Don't worry about it. Let's see. Let's catch up on the. You can sometimes buy stuff from China without paying VAT. Yes, indeed, you can. It depends how the Chinese people put it through the customs thing. You can. We need this money for. No, you don't need any money for the NHS, Rob. The NHS has got plenty of money. The NHS doesn't allocate and use the money appropriately because the NHS is riddled with people who can't manage it and is paying money to people who really don't need to be there. I mean, 1.2 billion every 3 days is not is not an insubstantial amount of money. If you can't run a health service for 60 million people on that, then you have no chance of running a health service. So the NHS is by no means short of money. What it is short of is proper, intelligent people to run the NHS. That's the problem.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Put me in charge of it. I'll dispassionately cut the budgets.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean I will divert far more money to frontline services because I'll fire 70% of the middle managers. I'll fire them. That's what I do. Get rid of them. They're not needed. They're not necessary. One of my friends who works in the NHS says, if she wants to get anything done, she works in admin, by the way. She says if she wants to get anything done, she has to go to her manager, who goes to his manager, who has to go to his manager, then to his manager. And then further up the chain, all of these managers upon managers upon managers upon managers are completely nonsense, completely unnecessary. And each one is on at least 60 to 80,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Get rid of them.
I know. I think, Rob, I don't think eBay and Amazon have to tell HMRC anything because their head office is in Ireland.
Of course. Of course.
So you'll find that they'll use loopholes where the money that comes in to any of their English or Scottish, subsidiaries is legally funneled off to Ireland, where the tax burden on them is almost zero. Because Ireland, so desperate to get a big company and wrote up these credible deals for Amazon, Apple, eBay. I mean, these guys just fell over themselves to get these companies in to give them some jobs. And now the companies are not paying any tax and hardly employing anyone because Amazon's using robots, isn't they, to do everything.
Yeah. It's a shit show. The way this country sets itself up, and I see something from Alphabet Cat who says it's the envy of the world. No other country has a healthcare system. It's free apparently. Otherwise, we'd have to have the US system. Well, plenty of other countries have healthcare systems that are free at the point of use.
Yeah, you don't need the US system. There's no reason for that. I mean, I went to France and I wasn't even in the healthcare system, and it only cost me €25 to go and see a doctor and get a prescription.
And you could get that back, couldn't you?
Yeah, well, you could once you were part of. I could claim that back on the insurance, and
yeah,
so it's not quite the American system. And once you're in their system as such, you basically get a card and you get all the money or half the 2/3 of the money back for your prescriptions and all that. So the French system isn't like the American system. The Swedish system, Scandinavian systems aren't either. Although you do pay a higher level of tax in those countries.
Yeah, but and also the thing about healthcare that's entirely free at the point of use, and what a lot of people don't understand, is that it's rationed healthcare. So you are given an X number, and you are worth a certain amount of pounds on their system, and that's why we see a lot of these cases where we see these children whose parents want them to go over to, let's say the Vatican. They offer quite often, don't they, to have these children in and give them alternative treatments and therapies that are going to die.
Right. Okay.
And then the NHS goes, no, No, we're not going to pay anything towards that. We're not going to allow that to happen. We're not going to provide that treatment because it's too expensive. So, and then you see these court cases with these parents who ultimately all end up losing, and their children unfortunately end up dying unless they do what what you done.
The phone line's not open.
Oh my God!
Now the phone line's open.
Did somebody try and call?
No. I forgot to take it off flight mode. I connected it to the road, but I forgot to take it off flight mode.
Yeah, well, I could really go for a coffee, Rob Bruce. I really could.
Yeah, let's go for a coffee.
I really could go for a bloody coffee.
Oh God.
And this guy here, I said it on Monday night show. I'll say it again. You fucking wanker.
You know what, mate? I got a lot of my. I put a Hamza today as well.
I understand that.
I did a video yesterday, and I'm doing one tomorrow. Bloody hell!
Right, listen.
And the research that goes with it.
I would let all of that come into the facts and come into the account if I hadn't said, John, open the fucking phone line.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. It's and it's bloody cold, you know.
I tell you what.
The phone line's open. People, the phone line is open. And we've got an extra viewer, so just in case they want to phone in, the phone line's open. If you can't,
but they don't have the number.
You don't know. You don't know if they have the number or not. They might be a Ko-fi supporter, this person that just joined. You just don't know. You're making assumptions that you're cashing checks your body can't support. Anyway, right. Where are we?
You tell me.
Oh, let's move on. Let's move on to something else. What about the Met? They're wanting to know if you're prepared to dob in people that you saw on the telly, aren't they?
they fucking are, aren't they?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, you're prepared to dob in people you saw on the telly. So today we're launching a single webpage to help us locate a number of people for a variety of offences committed since the 7th of October. Now, hold on a minute. That's more than a month. That's nearly 2 months ago now, right?
Nearly 2 months.
Right? We need your help to identify these people suspected of committing hate crimes and other offences, right? And then they've got pictures of people and saying, do you know this person? Do you know this person? Oh, right. Well, you know what, mate? See if you'd done your job at the time and actually apprehended the people that were there while they were committing these alleged crimes. Then you wouldn't be having to do this, would you? But you're not going to do that, are you? Because you can't be seen to be arresting the wrong type of people. Because those pictures, right, that you've got saying, do you know this person? Do you know this person? All look like her.
So, for elaboration, people, the vast majority of the people on this list are members of either the pro-Palestinian march or a pro-Palestinian convoy. Now, they've chucked in some right-wing protesters.
Yeah.
For a bit of a token, we're looking for these guys too.
Yeah.
But he's right in the respect that these pictures have all been taken by the Met Police. So they've taken these pictures. They took these pictures during the protest. I assume they took these pictures as the alleged hate crimes were being conducted. And at no point at the time did they go, that person's committing a hate crime. Best go arrest them.
Yeah, I know.
And so the people walked off. And now they're going, shit, public sentiment has really pushed back against us for this because we're seen to be committing two-tier policing. We best make it look like we're doing something.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yes, they are committing two-tier policing. They have done since at least 2019, 2020. Probably long before then as well. But it's because of this boogeyman of the far right. And I say it because if you were to believe the mainstream media, especially places like The Guardian, then there's a bad man from World War II around literally every corner. You go round there, oh my God, there's a skinhead wearing a red circle on his arm with a certain symbol in it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't think I've ever actually met a Nazi. I don't think I have. But The Guardian and the like, and Leo Varadkar in Ireland are making you think that there is a far-right neo-Nazi stormtrooper literally around every corner, waiting on every street. And I really don't think there is.
That's. Did you see the clip today about the guy saying, "What about Lee Rigby? What about him?" Did you see that clip? No.
No, I didn't. So do tell.
So this guy says to some pro-Palestinian chaps, "What about Lee Rigby? What about him?" And this pro-Palestinian supporter, and I can't really say what he said because, in my view, this is a hate crime because he said, well, basically he didn't care, but he would do things, that you really can't do.
Okay, so I think I get the gist of what you're saying.
I mean,
but look at all of these imams up and down the country, and I point them out specifically because we're seeing clips of them here in the UK calling for horrible, horrific things.
Calling for
horrible, calling for horrible and horrific things. Calling for armies to rise up.
Can't do that.
And none of these people seem to be getting any kind of punishment. And do you know what? I actually not only think that sort of thing is incitement, or hate crime, sorry, I think it's incitement to violence.
Well,
I think it goes further.
I think it does, and it's getting close to insurrection. I hate to use that term, but it really is. It's getting close to it. And I think this is one of the things that we have to be very careful of, because if you read my article on Dissent.com about the enemy is within the gate, I think that still stands, and it's more and more valid, and things are starting to happen that I said would happen in that. And I wrote that when? Way back at beginning of September or something?
I'll tell you what, before we went on this journey, before I went on this journey, before I started doing the stuff that I did before I did this, I was fully on board with the wokerati. I was a proper hippie, and I'm still a liberal, very much a liberal. And I don't care if that offends anybody. And I would still consider myself, and in fact, my political compass test considers me still of the centre left. However, I'm having a lot of struggle with where I see myself and where I place myself politically. And I'm seeing so many people not understand what the political compass is and where people are, accusing not just me, but others of being something wildly inaccurate. And I really, really don't think, and I've come to the conclusion that left and right does not matter. It doesn't matter. It's all just a matter of opinion. It's all just a label, so to put on somebody, because there are people who would be considered right-wing, far-right even, that would hold traditionally left-wing positions and left-wing views on certain things, because we can't all be placed in a box. We can't. And yet, I feel like anybody that wants to use these terms, the far right, the far left, and I'm guilty of it too, by the way, but I think it's more of a tool of division, and it doesn't advance anything. And so, as I'm sort of fighting through this struggle, I'm sort of reassessing how I see things and how I label things. And I think, like, the far left, that token, that label, it needs to be replaced just with the word communist. The word communist, because that is what they are, the people that hold those positions. And it's something that I'm working on as I'm going forward. Delivering Liberty, Sean Finch. Hi, Sean. How you doing? I hope you're well. Says, I have seen Nazis. They're patriotic alternative people, but it's embarrassingly and ridiculously cartoonish. Well, I imagine it is. And that's the thing. if I actually saw people walking up the road espousing that kind of ideology, I'd just sit there laughing my arse off. That's what I would be doing, because it would be so cartoonish, so ridiculous, that I just don't think that in the real world they're round every corner like people like Leo Varadkar would have you think.
I mean, see, Ireland's a bit like it's a bit weird because it is a little bit like America in microcosm from the political perspective at the moment, because the Democrats have been completely caught in the back foot here in America. Biden's now been called Genocide Joe, right, by the left, by the people in the universities, right? He's being called Genocide Joe, right? So what's happened is the Democrat Party have brainwashed the left to the extent that they now can't take their normal stance, which is back Israel to the hilt, regardless of what Israel does, right? Because they've lost their support from the people. So the Democratic Party have lost the support of Americans in their stance with Israel. And they don't know what to do. That's the problem. I mean, and Joe's got an election next year. Well, the Democrats have got an election next year. So they've got an election next year. So the thing is, he just wants it all to go away, but it's not going away. That's the problem, because they've engineered this situation and it's backfired on them massively. And so has Ukraine. I mean, all that somebody needs to do now with Ukraine, because the numbers coming out of there are horrific. I mean, some of the numbers coming out of Ukraine are now like 1.2 million dead and injured on the Ukraine side, right? That's just awful, right?
Yeah, but we don't hear about that anymore because we've got a new shiny thing to look at. The media have got a new shiny thing to look at. And I hate to frame it that way, but fuck. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, but look what well, that's what it is. I mean, look what's happening in Ukraine. You know, they're now calling up 87-year-old women. So apparently this woman who had medical training was called...
I shouldn't laugh.
Was called up. She got call-up papers. She's 87. But they've opened it up from 17 to 70, male and female, because they've nobody left. I mean, the country lost 20 million people to immigration, refugees. They just left because they thought, I'm not having this. They wanted out. They got out. I mean, the place is flooded with Ukrainians. You know, they are all over. You can see them everywhere, right? And it's not just us. They're all over Europe as well. I mean, Poland were getting to the point they were going to throw them back out because they were that fed up, you know? And you know what the Poles are like? They're quite what would you call it? Nationalistic anyway, aren't they? So the problem is somebody in America needs to turn around, or NATO or whatever, and phone Putin and go, look, we're sorry. You just need to call off the dogs, and this whole NATO expansion thing isn't going to happen, because that, I mean, and the thing is, the will is now there within some of the American military. The will is now there because these things are coming out, right? They're now saying that the peace process was subverted by America and Boris Johnson. That's what they're saying. I think
mostly Boris Johnson.
Yeah, I think so too. So they are now saying it was subverted. And that would have saved 1 million deaths. 1 million deaths.
I think, and this is going to sound conspiratorial, in fact, but I think Boris Johnson had something to do with the arrest of Tommy Robinson. Because, listen, he was invited. Boris Johnson was invited personally to that rally. And he marched in that rally with Julia Hartley-Brewer. They marched together. And imagine the optics if Tommy Robinson had marched up to Boris with his microphone and his cameraman and started interviewing him on the street. and
Yeah.
he'd not known who he was and just started talking to him.
Oh, Boris would know who he is.
I'm not so sure he would. Not really.
Right. Anyway, let's lighten this up a bit. I'm sure the phone line is definitely open, but that doesn't work.
I just don't care. Let's do one more, and then if nobody's called, we'll say goodbye to these lovely people.
Well, right. So I think Neil Oliver needs to stage his pictures with his dog more carefully. I mean, we all love our dogs, but by God, that's a really badly staged picture. Is it not?
Jesus Christ, Neil.
Right. And for
Jesus Christ, Neil.
For those who want an alternative to Christmas, and I think Amy would have liked this one, but I don't see her in the chat tonight. But I think Amy would have loved this one. So there's something weird on the Christmas tree. That's quite cool. I like that.
I can't see that. Let me just expand that.
It's a predator.
I want one. This tree doesn't have a topper.
There you go. You got a predator hanging off the top branch. That's what you need. That is cool.
Oh wow! Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please. This tree, the tree here does not have a topper, and also the tree is the place where you can express yourself this year. It's back for the 3rd year in a row, and I don't care if you think I'm bleating on about it. You can sponsor my balls. And this year we've gone from a 3-foot to a 6-foot Christmas tree. And it looks really good as well. There it is. You can do so by, if you look in the chat right now, having a donation of £10 or more if you wish to paypal.me/Willy Bricks. You get your name and a short message of your choice on the ball, and it goes on the tree, and we will show off them as they come in.
Beats and Tapes has come out with a cracking idea.
Hold on. This one from Vaughan, which says, John is wrong.
John's not wrong. I don't think he is, Vaughan. I don't think he is. Yeah, Beats and Tapes has come out with a good one. John is going to get a midget for the top of his tree.
Oh, man, imagine. Gets a little statue of Peter Dinklage as Tyrion Lannister. Sticks it on top of his tree.
That is not payable, Rob, because it's a donation. It's a donation. You're not actually getting anything. You're not receiving anything other than our love and
recognition
and undying gratitude.
On top of my tree balls. You could sponsor my balls. That's right.
Yeah. Right. Last item of the tonight, and I'm right. I make no apologies for this. Okay.
Okay.
Because this cracked me up today. Right? So it completely cracked me up, but some people might find it not offensive, but insensitive. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to show you the picture. So this is Dave, okay?
Right.
And his little guinea pig. Okay.
Right.
So Dave.
What am I looking at here? What?
It's Dave and his guinea pig, right? But Dave had a note on this, okay? And Dave says, what you didn't know was that the guinea pig was dead when I took this picture.
Oh my fucking God.
And then he goes on to tell us that when guinea pigs die, they die with their eyes open, right? Then he goes on to say he wasn't sure if it was dead, but it hasn't moved now for 20 minutes.
Fucking hell. So he moves from from it was dead to I'm not sure if it was dead.
No, he said he wasn't sure that it was dead, but it hasn't moved for 20 minutes and he's pretty convinced that it's dead now. And then someone replies, my condolences to you, Dave. Oh, good grief. Sometimes I just can't do this. Oh.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you have enjoyed the show tonight, then don't forget to leave a like, smash that like button, as they say, or I can say, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course there are ways you can support us financially if you wish to do so with donations via Ko-fi and Patreon. Links are in the pinned chat, or you can sponsor my balls. Other than that, I'm going to go off and die of this sinusitis now. I think it's time.
Yay, victim culture, go for it. Anyway, and welcome. Welcome. Thank you everyone for attending this episode 272 of Chasing Dissent Live with me, John, and with the sick but ever present Ben. It's been great for you.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet next to me. I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. I can't contain it, I'm coming out with a statement. You really changed, man, all your music and arrangement. You don't know shit, shut your mouth, you can save it. I'm the same dude that got his come up from the basement. 100 songs, 100 weeks, didn't change it. Experiments, development, intelligence, and patience. I'll do it all again, cause I never feel complacent. Let's keep the good vibes, positivity's contagious. I'm never looking back, cause I made a life that's passionate. A college graduate suppressing all his talents, yeah. He found a way to go and change, become an advocate. For taking control of your life, go out and battle. And you think you have a dream, then act on it. Get after it, get out your head and fucking capture it. You got one life to master it. Don't give up on your future, we all start losers. We're all late bloomers, gotta struggle through the sewer. What you say? Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say.